Hey everybody, how you all doing? I'm doing pretty good myself, thank you. This is the old ham and egger here, old geezer Bob, and got my Bob coffee cup. There you go, Bob everywhere. And without much further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into my college football picks. I'm doing pretty good so far. I have a neighbor, a few houses down, who bets. He doesn't gamble because he studies the whole thing, and he does pretty darn good, I tell you. He's got two cars out there that he thanks Las Vegas for because of his betting, so he knows what he's doing. And he once told me that to make a profit, you only have to get 53 or 54% right. That's it. How much you make, of course, will depend upon how much you put in. And among the guys who I'm playing along with, they being the experts from the New York Post, there's only myself and another one who is over 53%. So I'm at 56, he's at 53. Which the point is that it's real tough to pick these days. It is tough. These bookies know what they're doing, of course, and there's a lot of equality, a lot of mediocrity in college football, and you never know what's going to happen. But I do know what's going to happen. At least I hope I do know what's going to happen tomorrow night. That is my Alabama Crimson Tide will cover. They will take the 2 points, and they will win outright. There's been a lot discussed about it. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but as an Alabama fan, I will give you some points of some areas of concern I have. The first one, and it's well documented, is the lack of experience in the secondary. We lost two starting cornerbacks from last year. They're both in the pros. In addition to that, there were 8 other guys from the secondary who transferred out. And at least one of them was penciled in to be a starter. We do have a guy named Damani Jackson, a 5-star player, transferred out from USC. We'll see what he does. And there's a true freshman at the other cornerback. Excuse me for a second. But so far they have not been tested. There have been several times in the past 3 games where the opposing wide receiver got behind the defensive halfback, and a more accurate passer would have hit him for touchdowns. We'll see if Carson Beck can do it, and that depends upon what sort of pass rush we can give him. Another area of concern, which has not been spoken of by too many people, I'm surprised, is especially in a game like this where both teams are evenly matched, and that is the kicking game. It could come down to the kicking game. By that I mean punting and the field goal kickers. When it comes to punting, both teams are just about equal. Alabama fans would say we have the better kicker. Georgia fans would say the same about theirs. Both averaging about 48 yards net, which is pretty darn good. And an amazing stat is that in the 6 total games they've played, Georgia 3 and Alabama 3, there's been only 1 punt return. Only one, and that was for 4 yards. Georgia has yet to give up any punt return yardage. In fact, no one's returned a punt. And that's going to be important, too, because it's going to come down to a game of field position. And that leads to another thing, which is a sustained drive. It's Alabama's going to have sustained drives. They just can't have go down the field in half a minute, score on an 80-yard touchdown pass. It would be nice, but you're going to have some sustained drives, 20, 30-yard drives, eat up the clock 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time. And we'll see if we can do that. We'll see if Jalen Miller can do that. He's going to have to manage the team and manage himself. Too often he thinks he can do everything. And most of the time he's right. But that might not be the case against Georgia. He's going to have to distribute the ball. We're going to have to get a running game going. And even more so than a running game is to get total yardage by the running backs. That means passes as well. Little flare passes, little wheel routes out to the running backs. Pick up that yardage. Field goal kicking. For 4 years at Alabama, it was almost a certainty. Now, death and taxes, they are certainties. But it was almost a certainty that Will Reichard would kick the field goal. It doesn't matter where, 45 yards, 55 yards. Whenever he kicked it, you felt good. You felt he had a real good chance of making that field goal. But he's gone. And the replacement is the Lou Grozer Award from last year from Miami of Ohio, which sounds great. But so far, he's only kicked one field goal attempt. And he missed it, 44 yards out. That doesn't bode too well. That doesn't make me feel good. I don't care how many awards he's won, how good of a field goal kicker he was at Miami of Ohio. As of yet, he's an unproven commodity. On the other hand, Georgia's got a good field goal kicker. I think he's 6 out of 6, 1 out of 1 from the 50, 4 out of 4 from 40 to 49, and the other one was in the 39-yard range. So that's an advantage to Georgia. Mentioned sustained drives for Georgia to win. This is where Carson Beck comes in. Somebody said Carson Beck just should be the number 1 draft pick coming out of college. That's possible. I also heard it said that he's going to be a better professional quarterback than a college quarterback. He can manage the team. He can hit the short passes. He's a deep threat. And the receivers haven't been up to snuff yet for the Bulldogs, but that might change. Because they're going to test those Alabama secondary. Anyway, you've been spending too much time on that. Those are my concerns. I got more, of course, but I think we're going to do all right. We're going to get enough pressure on Carson Beck. We're going to be able to contain the perimeter. And we're going to cover the 2. How about that? All of a sudden it's we, huh? Anyway, Alabama's going to cover the 2. And they're going to win outright. Okay, picks this Friday night. You got Miami 19.5 at home against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is not a good team. Miami will see a chance to move up in the standings when Georgia get beat. I don't know how much they'll move up, but they will be moving up. So I like Miami 19.5 over Virginia Tech. This next one, Rutgers at home, giving 2 to Washington. I got the same reaction when I saw this as I did last week. When I saw that Tennessee was favored by Oklahoma only by 7. I said, I don't know. This is not the same old Rutgers, you understand. They got a good quarterback. He's a transfer. I forgot from what school, but he's a good quarterback and a decent running back. Now, Washington, however, though, they lost a lot of guys when Coach DeBoer left. A lot of the guys from Washington's national championship runners-up lost a lot of guys. So he's been turning that program around, the head coach. Haven't got his. I think he's from Arizona State, but he left the school and he had a good run there. So they're built. I think Washington has turned the corner. I think they've turned the corner, and they are 3-1. We're not talking about chopped liver here. And they have as their quarterback Will Rogers. Will Rogers is from Mississippi State. This guy can throw the ball. I think in 2 years he had a combined total of over 1,100 pass attempts. He can throw the ball, It's not his fault he played for Mississippi State. So I think Will Rogers is going to come around, and I think the Huskies are going to come around, and I'm taking them. Give me 2 points. I know Schiano's a good coach. He's probably got his eye on Gainesville out there with Billy Napier when Napier gets canned. So give me Washington with 2 points, and that's the best bet. Ole Miss at home against Kentucky, 17.5. Too many points. I mean, is that right? 17? Yeah, that's right. That's 17. That's 17.5. I'm taking Kentucky. I'm not saying they're going to be quite as good as they were against Georgia last week. They kind of snuck up on the Bulldogs. It won't happen against the Rebs, but 17.5 points. I'm taking Kentucky. Michigan, 9.5 against Minnesota. Ooh. At the big house. Minnesota's not a good team. Michigan doesn't have a quarterback as of yet. Not a decent quarterback. But they do have that running game. I think Minnesota has been a disappointment to a lot of fans, considering the hype they got when they hired that coach. You know, the one who was from a small school. We all rowed the boat. That was his shtick, right? We're all in the boat together in this big canoe. We've all got oars, and we're all rowing the boat. Yeah, well, that boat's about to capsize there. And the Golden Gophers. One time they were called the Gophers. How come they're not called the Gophers anymore? Has anyone ever seen a golden gopher? I haven't. They were better off when they were the Gophers. I'm taking Michigan, and so many teams here. I might change this, but as of now, it's the best bet. This one perplexed me. Kansas State, 4.5 at home over Oklahoma State. I don't know. I'm just picking Oklahoma State. They gave up 38 points against BYU. They had 4 turnovers, I think. They gave up a 90-yard punt return. So I'm taking that. Notre Dame against Louisville. At Notre Dame, at South Bend. I usually stay away from Louisville. Too many times it's been a dog team. They just won't perform up to where they should be. But I'm looking at the information here. And Louisville's got a good defense, believe it or not. They got another good quarterback. And that's 6.5 points. I might get burned, but I'm going to take Louisville with 6.5. Oklahoma, 2-point favorites over Auburn at the barn. That's right, 2-point favorites. Only 2 points. Neither team has an offense. Neither team. Which makes me wonder why, when Will Rogers was transferring out, Hugh Freeze didn't make an attempt to get him, or they didn't pay him enough money to get him. Anyway, they didn't do it. They're stuck with a weak offense. Neither quarterback has proven himself yet. So I'm taking Oklahoma 2 over Auburn. Texas at home, 38.5 over Mississippi State. Oh, that poor Mississippi State. Oh, it's a good thing they're not at home, because all those cowbells will be silent. Imagine going to Mississippi State game in Starkville, and you bring your cowbell, and you're all set to, every time Mississippi State does something, right, you know, the offense comes in, cowbells. The defense comes in, holding a cowbell for 4 quarters and not even, clanging it. It's a lot of points. Mississippi State is in a bad state. Is in a bad shape. And don't put it past Sarkisian to run up the score. Nah, he's got 2 good quarterbacks there. He's got Manning and Ewers. They both wanted to prove something. So I'm taking Texas. I'm giving 30. I'm almost shocked that one. I'm giving Mississippi State, the Bulldogs, 38.5. Ohio State 23.5 over Michigan State at Michigan State. At first glance, you think, oh, this looks good. This looks like a good upset special. Let's take the points. Now, it's all about Michigan State. They don't have much of an offense, and I could be wrong, but you know what? I would rather be wrong on Ohio State than to be wrong on Michigan State, meaning I pick Michigan State to cover, and they don't cover. Clemson at home, 21.5 to Stanford. I think Stanford's got the second worst defense in the ACC. That says a lot. I'm taking Clemson. And I already mentioned about Alabama getting 2 over Georgia, and the Crimson Tide will take that. And I'm picking Alabama as the best bet. Why? They're my team. I've enjoyed watching this team for decades. There were a few bad years, a few bad seasons. But on the greater part, they've been consistent. Year after year, great teams, consistency. They got the same helmets, the same uniforms, nothing fancy about these guys. They go out there and they play good defense and they win games and they don't disappoint you. They don't disappoint you by not giving their all or by doing some half-ass things. No, roll Tide. Next one, Penn State, 18 over Illinois. I'm thinking, why is Illinois not being respected? I saw them play against Nebraska. They beat Nebraska at home. Altmaier's a good quarterback. And Penn State, I'm still not yet sold on Penn State. I'm not saying they're going to lose. I won't say that. But 18, yeah, I'm going to take the Fighting Illini. And we got Utah at home, 11 against Arizona. This might be a risky bet, a risky prediction. But I'm taking Arizona. Utah's been okay. They haven't been great. And part of the reason why they haven't been great is their quarterback's been hurt. That's Cam Rising. Oh, yeah, did I mention in the Miami-Florida game against Virginia Tech, this will be a showcase for Cam Ward to show off his Heisman Trophy skills, right? So, yeah, so they'll be up for this game. Anyway, you got Arizona getting 11 against Utah. That's kind of suspicious. Yeah, that's kind of a risky bet. Oregon, 25.5 against UCLA. That's a lot of points. Just like Miami, Oregon will see a chance to move up in the polls after Alabama beats Georgia. Don't know how much they'll move up, but they'll move up a bit, right? An undefeated Oregon should take precedence over a one-loss team. I think so. And UCLA, let me see. UCLA. They've scored 16 points against Hawaii, 13 points against another team, and then they had this offensive blowout against Louisiana State where they scored 17. So 17 and 13 is 30. And 16 is 46. Divide by 3. So they're averaging about 15 points a game. Nah. Give me Oregon, 25.5. Okay, let's see if I got any more stuff here before I leave. Jordan's got to watch out for the deep threat by Jalen Milroe. I wish the Giants had him to throw the ball deep, huh? You see the Giant game yesterday? I saw the second half. Jones had these guys open. All they had to do was just throw the ball further, and they catch it for a touchdown. The guy can't throw deep. You know, Bob, I'm asking too much. I'm asking too much when I sign a guy, as Joe Schoen did, when you sign a guy for $40 million a year and ask him to throw the ball deep. 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 You throw the ball deep in front of your receiver. You know what? You get what you pay for. Well, not in this case, right? But sometimes. Okay, I think that's about it. Michigan State's got good running but poor passing. That doesn't bode well for them. Because Ohio State will stop that running game. If you can't pass, you're in trouble. A lot more things to say, but that'll be it for now. So you all stay healthy, you stay safe, stay vertical. And if you can, just hit the subscribe button. That would be real nice of you to do that. And hope I can have a good week like I have been having recently. And hope you enjoyed the video. I know I sure did. So you all take care and talk to you again.